Hello, everyone. Can you hear us?
I think we're
Chris,
good.
can you hear me? Yes,
Yes,
I think
we're
we're
good.
good. Okay, good. Hi, everyone. I'm Sally Sfier-Tait. I'm the CEO of RegulAltion. I'm a lawyer converted technologist. I'll let Chris also introduce himself before we get going.
Yeah, thank you. Chris Grant. Also, I feel like it's more dabbled with law than actually did any practicing of it anymore. But have also spent time working in legal ops and, of course, working with a lot of legal technology solutions and through Barclays Legal Labs.
Great. So why are we here talking about data? I mean, you would probably expect us to talk about law tech, but actually we're talking about data. And why are we calling it a looming opportunity for data? And that's explained both of these things. So before I founded RegulAltion with my co-founders, who are very much tech, I was on the global innovation board of Clyde & Co, and I really wanted better solutions. I wanted better tools. My clients were demanding it. They were putting it in their panel conditions. Every customer interaction I had was about what technology can you use. And I realized that, and I started looking at tech solutions, law tech solutions, and they weren't good enough, and I wasn't satisfied. I'm hoping this is going to resonate. And I discovered that was all because the algorithms are learned from data. And without data, algorithms are not going to learn. And law firms and in-house teams can't just give their data because of confidentiality. So actually, thinking like a lawyer, the crux of the problem is data. And that's why we exist. We exist to solve the data access problem, and we're going to talk more about this. Now, why are we calling it a looming opportunity? We're calling it a looming opportunity because if it was 3 years ago, we weren't paying as much attention. But now also with COVID and with the pressure from clients, each of these three groups, let's take each of the three groups, right? Let's start with law firms. Law firms are under pressure from their clients. This is a fact. It was a fact actually a few years ago. It's become increasing, and actually Chris can talk about this more. The second one is in-house teams. In-house teams are under budget pressure on a continuous basis. They don't like the cost to be unpredictable, and they need to use better solutions to be more efficient. And again, Chris can talk a lot more about that than me. I can tell you about the law tech companies. The law tech companies are some of the smartest people that you can ever come across. And they really, really want to deliver the best products in the world. But they can't because they don't have data. So actually, this is a looming opportunity for everybody who really does want to progress the legal industry and actually deliver better law tech solutions that everybody wants. But to do that, we all have to work together. And that's really where we're going to end up in this talk. So let's just, talk about it, and Chris will tell you about the opportunities and his experience.
So thanks, Sally. And look, I've spent a lot of time working in-house, but also importantly working with panels of law firms as we've all started to go on this journey together. Sally's absolutely right. The demands on the in-house legal teams, and this will be no new news, I think, for anybody that is watching this today. The demands are increasing, and they continue to increase, and it's all about driving efficiency whilst also still managing risks and also managing costs at the same time. And there's limited resource within in-house teams to be able to do that, though we know that there are opportunities out there to be able to help and assist. And the people that we're leaning on are, of course, our law firms. So therefore, we're kind of making our problem somebody else's problem. But actually, it's not throwing it over the wall. We do want to collaborate around it and make these things happen. And firms are responding better to that than ever we've seen before. And we've often talked about it's coming. Change is coming. Change is already kind of here, and actually we're responding to it in a better way than we ever have done before. Law firms are really thinking about how they can step into the space, but we're now starting to really hit some of those walls and some of those problems, and need to think about it in terms of how we can collaboratively overcome some of those problems. I mean, I've always talked about how coming together and collaborating really helps, because you're sharing the risk, you're sharing the cost, and you're obviously starting to do things a little bit quicker. And actually, that's the bit that has now really changed. I think we're starting to accept that we're having to develop and do things in different ways. But importantly, we're coming together to do that. And there's plenty of examples of that happening.
Yeah, and that's actually really interesting. A bit of an inside story. Chris and I met when I was on the tech side and he was on the in-house side. So, so we met around this exact problem. And actually, you saw it from the inside, how the tone was changing. You saw it also with your panel law firms, how their tone was changing. And I saw it also because we're part of the University College London ecosystem, by the amount of law tech companies that were coming up, by the funding that they were getting, so by the tools that are being developed to enable that technology. So there really is there's a lot of elements that have come together to then enable us to work together and to then develop an ecosystem around how do we together solve the problems of law tech, really. Yeah. We're here also because we're launching, what are we calling it? A data access ecosystem.
Yes.
So we're launching a data access ecosystem, and it's quite important that you understand why we are doing it. So we've developed the AIR platform, and please do follow us on LinkedIn, and you'll see the videos on our website. And it's the AIR platform that won the MAS Accelerator back in 2020, because we've developed an automated platform for data holders. We call them data holders, so that would be the law firms, and that would be the in-house teams, and the innovators, and that's the legal tech companies, to all come together on a single platform that makes data accessible for all of them to develop better tools. Critically, it actually preserves the privacy of the data, because none of the lawyers want to redact their documentation. Let's just face it. This is not even a starting point. Can you please show us the slides? Perfect. This is actually something that has changed recently, which has driven all of that momentum around trying to understand how it can be used. And that was a seismic shift in how lawyers are now able to work with technology companies. So in the traditional model, which is the model which is on the left of the screen, data used to have to be moved and have to be shared so that you can develop an algorithm. Using today's technology, it's the algorithm that goes to the data, the program that goes to the data. So therefore, the law firms, the data holders, the law firms or the in-house teams don't have to redact their documentation. And it also then makes it easier and, frankly, less risky for the tech companies, because now they're not holding somebody else of the procurement processes. Things have changed in the last few years that have made it possible for people to work together collaboratively in I think there's a new word that's being used, which is co-opetition, where you're still not saying that you're going to work together as a joint venture. You're actually still competing. You still run your businesses completely independently, but you work together on a problem that you're all facing. And in the legal sector, frankly, it's access to data. Without access to data, none of the lawyers will have the solutions that they need. And none of the tech companies will develop the solutions that the lawyers need. So that's why we talk about the looming opportunity of data. And that's why we've launched our ecosystem. So because we want to help people meet each other to solve specific problems that they're passionate about. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that we've really found as we've progressed and obviously had an awful lot of conversations over the years and months, is we are finding ourselves more and more in a position where we're starting to connect people. There are plenty out there that, as Sally's just described, have a part to play in this ecosystem and aren't necessarily able to put all the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle together. So it's something that we feel that we could be in a position to really start to help make some of that happen.
Yeah, and there's also, I mean, just to give an idea, if you're a lawyer in an in-house capacity, you're going to have to make a case for change. Making a case for change, you're going to need to have a lot of information, a lot of data about why this problem is important, why this problem is important for your organization, why this problem is worth solving, why this problem is worth investing. And this is where the whole community can help each other in defining what those problems are. And then also there's a level of not understanding the solutions. And I was a lawyer, I'm now a technologist. I have had to interact a lot with technologists, and I'm still missing quite a lot of things. But I have one very good news for everybody, is that lawyers and technologists actually think the same. And that is a secret that people will not tell you. You're not that different. You're actually too similar, which is probably why we all want to understand the detail of it. So I guess what I'm saying is that it's also a way for people to experiment with technology and get to play with technology. So stop thinking, start doing. Start interacting with the technology so that you can understand it better and understand what it can help with.
I think we could probably take the slide down now, so you get bigger versions of us than you had before. So I think there's a few things then to cover off. I mean, we've definitely got a call out here for a call to action. But I also wonder whether there's a little, and we've only got 4 minutes left, so we could maybe talk a little bit about kind of in practice what this could look like. But there's certainly a call out to everybody that's watching this, and to talk more specifically around that. I mean, I'll maybe take the in-house and the law firms first, Sally, and you can pick up on the techies. But you know, if we're thinking about the in-house teams, you're probably already thinking about how you can make better use of your data, but you've got a headache because you know how hard it is to corral that data and get it into the right place so that you can use it. Even internally, often data sits in silos, and if we start to think about things like GDPR overcomplicating things, you know, it can be often very hard to get a simple view of all of that. We've got a platform that can help to certainly overcome those challenges. And we're also thinking about, therefore, that community piece as to how we can build and bring together people that can also help you do something with that data. We can help you access it, but it's what do you want to therefore then do with it? And how can we get insights from that data and bring people to help you get those insights from that data so you are working more effectively and more efficiently? Better management of your risk and doing that in a faster and more slicker way is definitely what we want to do. So we want to know what your problems are. You're on that journey, you're thinking about your data. What do you want to do with it? Because if we know more about your problems, we can help to connect you to the solutions. Similarly with the law firms, I mean, that is your client's problem, and they're becoming more sophisticated in the demands that they are asking of you. And this is really an opportunity for you to get ahead of those demands and be at the forefront of innovation in the industry. You can expand and enhance the services that you provide, because actually you've probably got more of the client's data in a better fashion than some of the clients may potentially have. You've been working with them for a long time, even just thinking about legal contracts and what you've got in place. There's a wealth of information there. Are you really using it to its full potential? So again, we want to put you at the heart of that community and start to think with, starting to connect you with some of the more forward-thinking technologists, and not from that whole, we're all very familiar with it, the sell perspective. Actually, let's just have a conversation about how we can overcome some of these challenges and connect all of the different pieces. So your clients are from different sectors. That's the other thing to bear in mind. This is not just about legal. If you start to put yourselves at the heart of that data community, you can really reap the benefits, because you're able to connect other people with solutions that they didn't think might have been possible before. Sally, I'll hand over to you on technologists.
So on the technologist side, and we've been in this before, where we wanted to develop a new, so we had a customer relationship, they wanted a solution, and then we said the usual thing, give us your data, we'll deploy the algorithm. And can't give you our data. Okay, fine. Take the algorithm into your environment, and etc. etc. And we all, there are certain problems that can be worked on as a community. Like, for example, why would each law tech company on its own connect to a new data holder? Why would that project have to bear the data transformation cost? The contracts are the contracts. Data transformation is data transformation. Do it as a wholesale approach, working with multiple customers at the same time, with multiple solutions at the same time. The cost comes down for everybody. The opportunity goes up for everybody. And then we develop better data transformation tools. We develop better algorithms. And then imagine algorithms learning from multiple data sets at the same time. How much more powerful are your algorithms going to be? I mean, it really is a call out. And it doesn't really matter what you want to solve, what you're passionate about. Just reach out and we'll see. We'll take it from there. I think we're out of time, actually.
We are getting pretty close to time. So just a couple of pieces, just reiterating what Sally said, do follow Finders on LinkedIn. Also, we've got a weekly roundup that goes out as part of that, and we'd love to have your input on that as well. It's not just about our voice. We want to try and corral all the information that's out and in the industry. Also, there's our virtual booth, which we think somewhere between the virtual hot dog stand and possibly the toilets. We're not really sure, but we're there.
And it's RegulAltion, as in regulation, but with an AI in the middle. And it's autocorrect doesn't like us. Thank you, everybody. I don't know if this video will be circulated again, but again, reach out whenever. You can find Chris and I on LinkedIn, and one of our colleagues, Clinton Swan, will also be talking today, I think. So you can also speak with him.
Yeah, thank you very much for taking the time to listen to us, and enjoy the rest of TechFest.
Bye.